There is no plan, there's more of an idea. Saying that there's a plan would be like insulting plans everywhere. But somebody gave me this hunk of steel. This is, I think, a blade off of a brush cutter. It is massive. It's more than 11 pounds of steel and 5/8 of an inch thick. And no idea what it is. 17 inches and some change long. Now, this doesn't fit in my forge the way it is. So hopefully I can be able to heat this up enough to straighten this out. This would be really cool if I could take it like right across here. And then straighten that out. And then spread everything out from there. I made this weird contraption a while back, actually. And it's basically, it's a single propane burner for a forge. In this piece of channel here is refractory to make a cone so that we've got our burner there. But then it just goes out and open. This is for working with like thin sheet metal and things like that. It works fine for that. And I can raise and lower it with this crank back over here and bring it down to whatever height I want. So my hope is that with a few fire bricks mixed in around here, that this will provide enough heat in there and work kind of like an open C-shaped forge that I'll be able to heat that and get it straightened out. This thing is still just a massive hunk of steel, and rather than grind away on it to get it down to weight, I'm going to cut a big chunk off before I even forge it out. Because it is still, like I said, 5/8 of an inch thick. I mean, this has been ground sort of to a kind of edge there. But yeah, that thing is massive. So let's go ahead and take a big chunk off. And that'll give me something that I can draw out and test the heat treat on too. Okay, so I cut off this chunky piece of steel. That's still, oh, I don't know, 4 pounds, maybe. That's gonna be a lot of steel. So this is still kind of heavy, but it's much better than it was. So we're gonna start drawing this out. On this blade. I think I'm going to narrow it a bit and widen it out, and this is still kind of thick here, so Probably still gonna get some more length on it, but I'm up to 20 inches long on the blade there. And a little bit more than that on the handle, 22 or 23 inches on the handle. So yeah, this thing's getting to be monstrous. But like I said, I can definitely get some more out of here. It's still way hot, but gonna be some grinding to clean up some stuff, obviously. But it's definitely coming along and making out a nice sort of shape to it. I might pull that tip down just a bit. Like I said, narrow it just a bit here. And then I still have to finish up the handle because this is still rough. So I was going to put it back in the forge and work it out on the power hammer some. And spread that out and even it up. So a lot of work left to do. But now that I've got it long enough that I can just keep a part cooled down with a rag, well, I can actually hold on to it. So, hey Pepper, what's up? Yeah. So I can keep this side cool while I work on the handle. I can keep this side cool while I work on the blade. And then it's going to be tricky to heat treat the blade, but we'll get there. I don't think I filmed it, but I went ahead and took some salvaged red oak and made some handle pieces for this. And they're just riveted on with brass rod that's been peened out into some countersinks on it. I decided to do that rather than epoxy it on because if I ever have to change these, that's going to be a lot of epoxy to try and break loose and grind off. I don't want to do that. So, got a rough handle on there, and I'm planning on, of course, wrapping it with leather. So, I've got myself a whole bunch of leather from some scrap tan leather here that I've cut into about 1/2 inch lace, and I've beveled the back side of it on each side so that it'll lay down nice and smooth. To do that, I used this little tool that I got from a company called Why Not Lace, YKNOT. So Not a cheap tool, but it makes a real quick job of beveling lace like this. Way better than the old using your thumbnail and a knife, using your thumbnail as a guide. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this with the same sort of handle wrap that I've done before in videos. I'll soak this stuff up and wrap it on there. I'm not going to show that because it's going to take a while and it's going to be a lot of just wrangling lace where the camera's going to be in the way. But I'll bring you back once I've got that all wrapped up. Okay, now then, I've got 20 inches of handle wrapped with about 10 or so yards, not quite 10, I don't think, yards of half-inch lace. And I'm going to go along, and since the lace was beveled, if I pound on it, normally you would roll it if it was something round, but this isn't going to roll. I can smooth these laces together a little bit. Now, but you can see that lace lays down a lot smoother with those beveled edges, and after you pound it, it makes a really nice smooth feeling handle. Still got some grip to it, but not as rough. Alright, let's go ahead and throw, I've got medium brown antique stain here. And we're going to go ahead and throw some of that on there real quick to really kind of ugly it up some. Make it look a little bit more worn and used. Alright, let's see how it does a chopping brush. Yeah, I think that'll do the job. Armor made from tires figures pretty heavily in a lot of post-apocalyptic things. Let's see how it does against that. The sidewall's easy. Goes right through and out the other side. The tread, that's a little different. Takes a good hit to get through the wires. That's even useful for splitting up firewood.